I greet those of you who are watching on the internet, or I should say praying on the internet, worshiping the Divine Liturgy. It is a little bit more difficult for you, I am sure. In the life of the Church, there are many stories of saints, fathers, hierarchs of our faith, who offered the liturgy by themselves. And people outside could hear choirs singing inside the church, which is a great witness that the church is never empty, even though there may not be physical people present. We are always surrounded by those that have passed on, especially the saints, martyrs, and the hierarchs of our faith. The icons are here to remind us that we are not alone, that we always have people watching, even before we had the technology of the internet and social media. The Church has always known that we gather as a ecclesia, as a calling together of the people of God in worship. But be that as it may, one of the lines in the Orthodox and in the liturgy has more meaning. We become more attuned to it when we say, for those who travel by land, by sea, air, space, those who are sick, for those who are suffering, and then we say, for those who are in captivity. And we think, when we say that we are thinking only of those that are in prison, when in reality, now because of social distancing, we are in captivity in many ways. We are held in our homes for a variety of reasons because the state and our church leaders care about our health. So although we are distant, we are still here. So allow me, just as the catechesis for this Sunday, we always offer a catechesis, a little bit of education in the church at this time after the creed here at the Annunciation Church. Allow me to talk a little bit about the candles and why we have the candles here instead of in the narthex. We have the candles here so that those of you who are online, if you want to be physical with us and show that you are in support of the church and you are here physically present with us, you can click on the front page of our website and it'll bring you to a menu where you can make a donation for a white candle or a beeswax candle. You can make for a votive, for a larger candle, and you can make your donation online, and then someone in the narthex, we have people in the narthex, will take what your donation is. They will receive an email immediately, and we will come forward and we will light it here. So you will see this is our first Sunday doing this. We already have individuals that are watching online, and perhaps you are watching online and don't even know that you can make a donation. Please don't misunderstand. We're not trying to turn the church into a marketplace. We are just trying to help you be part of the church and at the same time to allow the church to receive the stewardship that it needs so that it can go forward. As businesses and other industries will suffer during this time, the church will suffer too, unless individuals are attuned and they have the spirituality to know that I should give something to the church as well, if we can, to help us. And think of it this way: you are saving in gasoline, you are saving in many other things. I ask you to be generous and light a candle. The lighting of the candle, as you know, in the narthex is not a bribe to God. And oftentimes people will say, light a candle for me. Whether they are sick or they can't come, light a candle for me, they say, when you go to church. Or if you go to Jerusalem, or if you go to Greece, you go to a monastery, light a candle for me. What they are saying is not a bribe to God, but they are saying that although I am physically separate, I want to be considered spiritually present, part of the ikougenia. And the lighting of candles, as you know, represents that we have been baptized. We have been baptized, we received our candle at baptism, and when we come into the church, we light the candle from other people's candle. We don't light it by ourselves, We take a light from someone else to show that our baptism brings us as a ikoinonia, as a community, as a family, into the fullness of the church. So I share these thoughts with you. I hope that you accept them in the way that they are offered, and that you will be generous, light a candle, and express that you are part of our worshiping church. I'm hopeful and prayerful that we will be all together soon. I'm prayerful and hopeful that Easter, Holy Week, the churches will be open again, we'll be able to be together. But whatever God's will is, we will follow whatever His dedima is, and we will accommodate in whatever way we have to. I just want to reiterate what I said during the catechesis, that we have created an opportunity online for those of you who are watching online to make a donation to the church. We can light a candle for you. We will light the candle and place it here. You will see someone from the parish council lighting the candle, putting it in the sandbox, so you can be here physically present with us. It is a tradition in the Orthodox Church where if you cannot be in church, you ask someone to light a candle for you. So we have created that opportunity. And I hope you see it as an opportunity, as a gesture of love to you and as stewardship to us. You'll also notice that we have a suggested amount there. That is there because we have to pay a portion of your donation goes to the mechanism, the website that helps us with online gifts. So we have increased a little bit the amount of money as a suggested amount. I hope that you understand that is the reason why. But again, we will accept whatever stewardship you give to the church. We do not have the opportunity to pass the tray or to light the candles, but small parishes like this need your support. So I'm hopeful that those of you online will understand and will continue to support the church. It is a little difficult to preach and to teach when there's no one physically present. I have many years now taught classes online. I have taught at the university and college levels distance learning, in which we, as professors, we teach students at a distance, and oftentimes we never meet the students. We sometimes don't even hear their voices on the phone. All we know is they are there, they do the requirements, and they email us from time to time. But it is difficult to preach and to teach without being able to see someone or groups of people, to see their reaction to what we say. But I know that there are many of you there, so I will continue during this period of time as I have to offer a catechetical lesson and to offer you an appropriate homily. In the community that I live, maybe where you as well, people are walking. They are keeping at a distance, but they're walking around the community. They are getting stir crazy a little bit. They can't play golf, they can't go to the beach, they can't do many different things. And so they either ride their bikes or they are walking. And in the course of the walking, we talk to one another at a distance. And a number of people are saying, well, what are you doing at home? And I'm very curious to hear what people are doing. And they tell me, thank God, they say, for Me TV. So I'm sure you know, Me TV is reruns of old sitcoms, old series. And I watch it as well. I enjoy it. It reminds me of years gone by. And they tell me they like to watch Hogan's Heroes, Bonanza. They like to watch the Odd Couple, different stories, different programs that make them laugh and give a little joy to their lives. And many of them tell me they like a series that I like very much as well. They like the series called Gilligan's Island. maybe those of you in Greece, I'm not sure if you lived in Greece during the 60s, if you had the opportunity to follow that series. It only lasted 3 years, but it was syndicated, and it is shown many, many, many different times. As a matter of fact, the main character, Gilligan, is considered a national character of the United States, even after just 3 seasons. What makes it so attractive? Why are so many people interested in that show? I thought about it this week, and I thought it creates a wonderful allegory. It is a wonderful frame to talk about our situation. Gilligan's Island, as you know, is about 7 castaways. 7 individuals that were on a small boat that, because of a storm, ended up being marooned on an island. And these 7 people had to live with each other for many, many years. They were, in a sense, just like us. Marooned, maybe not on an island, physical island, but an island nonetheless. We are in our respective homes. We are separated from one another. We are on an archipelago, almost connected by the internet, but we are marooned, shipwrecked. We are castaways, and we have to deal with our situation. You know the 7 people on the minnow. If you know the sitcom, we have the captain. We have the very rich person, Mr. Howell, and his wife, Mrs. Howell. We have Ginger, the actress, very attractive actress. We have Marianne, the more country girl in the movie, in the sitcom. We have the professor. And lastly, we have Gilligan. And they have to deal with each other. But what is interesting that there are books written about this sitcom. And I want to share with you, if you are not aware, that many people believe that the sitcom is attractive, it's popular, because the 7 people represent the 7 sins. The 7 great sins, the major sins that we all have. And they describe it this way. The captain, because he is very heavy and all he likes to eat, represents gluttony. The rich man, Mr. Howell, represents greed. His wife is always criticizing everyone, and they say she represents anger. Marianne represents jealousy. She is very jealous of the very pretty actress, Ginger. The professor represents pride, because he is the smartest in the group. And finally, Gilligan represents sloth, the individual who doesn't do anything, but gets everybody else in trouble and creates problems for everybody. And so they look at the island and they say, this represents the way we have to deal with the sins that we have in our life. And we cannot get off the island. We cannot find our way home unless we deal with each one of these sins. What is interesting is, in the sitcom, whenever there is a problem, and it could be a problem of greed, it could be a problem of jealousy, it could be a problem of sloth, it could be gluttony, all one of these 7 things, they go to a library of books. There's actually a library, and they called it the Castaways Library. And what they did was, each of them pooled whatever books they brought with them. So the captain, he had his naval book, but he cared so much about food. The actress, she brought a book about acting with her, about what's going on in the social world. The rich man brought within the newspapers and magazines, the Wall Street Journal, and other things about the stock market. The girl, the cowgirl, the country girl, she brought a book of horoscopes with her. And the pride of the professor, he brought books about science with him. And they pooled these books together, and these are the books that they went to try to figure out how to get off the island. But what did we find out after 3 seasons? Although they could take care of their current situation to a degree, they could not get off the island. Isn't it interesting that there was no Bible? There was no holy book on the island of Gilligan. So I share this with you as a framework, because Jesus today, in the story of the demoniac young boy, and you know the father brings his son, and he says, "Can you please help him?" He has a dumb spirit in him. The Greek, it says, "To πνεύμα των άλλων και κουφών," the dumb and deaf spirit. Dumb meaning it has no wisdom, and deaf, it doesn't want to hear any wisdom. I'm sure each of us know somebody like that, don't we? We all know people who they think they know it all, and they don't want to hear from anybody else. And these are the individuals that are brought to Jesus. Please help him, the Father says. I brought him to your disciples, and they were not able to do it. And what does Jesus say? Oh, just like today, a generation, a culture of people who do not believe. How long am I going to be with you? How long am I going to tolerate you? That's what he's saying. Bring the boy to me. Very powerful line. In other words, forget the science books, the popularity, the greed, the gluttony, all of those books, all of that wisdom. Yes, important, good. But if you want to get off the island, bring the boy to me. I am the one. I am the one, the only one that can help. Because he says, the disciples go to him and say, how come we couldn't do it? The arrogance, huh? How come we couldn't do it? Very similar to today. I bet you we will reach a point in this coronavirus. Well, science will say, we can't do any more. This is as much as we can. And where do we go then? We go to prayer, don't we? What happened when the towers fell in New York? What did the people do? Where did they run? To the churches. They wanted to pray. When we get sick, where do we run? When we have problems, where do we go? When we have death in our families or difficulties, where do we go? To the science books? Do we go to the actresses? Do we go to the sports? We go to God. And this is the story, and that's why it's so important today on the fourth Sunday of Lent, fourth Sunday of Lent, and that we focus our attention. That as we are going to the resurrection, we have to understand that it is only through the wisdom of God, not the wisdom of this world, that we find real, true, genuine, authentic healing, that we can get off the island. Isn't it interesting that on this day, the day in which the church says, bring the oalos kekufos to Jesus, the dumb, the deaf, bring them to Jesus, that we also celebrate the memory of John of the Ladder, one is Climacus. And this is the book that we are studying in the church for this great Lent. I've asked you to buy it, to read it, to study it, to look at it, because it offers us Catechismal, a ladder, steps on how to grow spiritually. And in this book, if you are reading it, you will see all 7 of the sins of Gilligan's Island are there. All 7. And how to overcome them. And St. John says, in the 13th step, that the most dangerous of all of the steps is sloth. Sloth. In other words, laziness. To be a tembele. To not want to do anything. To not want to read. To not want to study. To not want... everything is fine the way it is. That's the worst of all of the sins, he says. The other sins, we can turn them around. We can adjust them back to God. The only one, he says, of the 7 that cannot be turned back to God is this one. The only way we can destroy it, he says, is to study Scripture. Isn't it interesting? He himself says the same thing. The study of the Bible, the singing of the Psalms, the listening to the words of God will allow us to come to our senses. It will resurrect us, awaken us, so that we can do what we need to do. I hope and pray that as we think about ourselves in our respective island, we look at ourselves and say, okay, which of the 7 sins am I dealing with? And maybe, if we are truthful, all 7. We have a problem to one degree or another with all 7 of those things. But in order to even start, we have to stop being tembellidas, lazy people. We've got to get rid of the sloth and start reading Scripture, start reading the lives of the saints, start praying the way we should, and before you know it, through Christ, like this dumb young man in the gospel lesson today, we will come to our senses and we can get off the island and finally make our way home, back home to the kingdom of God. May the Lord be with you as we continue our journey. May He protect those of you who are on the internet, and I hope you will tune in again on Friday evening for the Catechismal hymnos, and then again on Sunday.